And hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 2 of the Drake Broadcasting System's coverage of the Drake Relays on the College Channel and also tuning live on 94.1 The Dog KDRA LP Des Moines. I'm Hunter Phillips. Joining me here on a soggy day here for Day 2 of the Relays, Jacob McKay and Juan Munoz. Guys, how you doing for your first Relays broadcast?
Pretty great. Pretty excited to get started.
Oh, yeah, really excited about this opportunity, and let's get started with this.
Well, as you can probably tell here in a moment when we have our cameras up, it is absolutely pouring outside. The rain isn't going to be going anywhere, but the athletes are still out there. They're still going to compete here today. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of our reporters for braving the elements out there today. The rain has just been absolutely pouring out there and for giving us some great interviews. That was the Iowa men there. Big win, Jacob and Juan, in that sprint medley. And tell you what, the in-state schools have really put on a good performance. Even the unattached runner, who is an assistant coach at Northern Iowa, got the win. So if you're an Iowa track and field fan, you got to like what you've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm definitely coming from out of state. This is one of my first experiences with this.
Impressive, and yeah, this is the Drake Relays. Everything can happen, and it was a great time.
Well, I think what's also been impressive is that these athletes are going all out despite the conditions here, which it's raining as hard as I think it has been so far in the spring, and it hasn't deterred these runners any bit. We haven't seen many drops with the batons, but if you're a coach for any of these teams, you really have to be impressed with how they've handled this so far.
Yeah, you got to be proud of your athletes. I was very impressed with the time splits in the relays, given the ability to mishandle the baton with the weather like this. I was pretty impressed with everybody's handoffs. A lot of just, like, again, I said well coached, but also very well poised teams. Really not losing sight of the moment given the weather conditions at all.
I mean, the only bad two things we have seen today is Drake got disqualified with a bad handoff. It's a pity, and then the Baylor athlete, she got injured like really bad actually. So I hope she's doing okay though.
Gotta wish her the best. Really never want to see that.
No, and unfortunately we haven't seen too many injuries. I mean, that's always the risk with these kind of conditions out there, that something may happen, especially with it being cold. And, you know, you're trying to warm up your muscles, and then all of a sudden you just have that cold rain just pouring on you. It can certainly affect different things, and, you know, we wish the athlete with Baylor a speedy recovery because Baylor really was poised to have a good finish, and I believe that was the sprint medley. But we're lucky that we haven't seen that many injuries. And, you know, again, just despite these, you know, rainy conditions here at Drake Stadium, we've had a great day of competition so far. We have an officials break right now. Our next event will happen at about 12:10 or so. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. We have some great packages again from all of our producers here at the DBS, and our first one is about the one and only Spike the Bulldog. Well, joining us here this afternoon in the studio is probably one of the busiest guys on campus, the director of the Drake Relays, Mr. Brian Brown. Brian, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us today about the Drake Relays. I'm sure it's been just a busy, hectic couple weeks for you.
Yeah, it's a busy time, but it's now 10 years that I've been preparing for this great event, and I love it.
Now, you've been an assistant coach for the women's track and field team here at Drake. How did you get involved with the Drake Relays initially?
Well, my initial exposure to the Drake Relays was as a competitor. In 1991, a long time ago, was my first time even entering on Drake's campus. And it was at that time I came to compete in my first Drake Relays. And so when I came onto campus, such a carnival atmosphere, got into the field house, walked down to the track out of the tunnel, and there it was, the blue oval, and a packed crowd, and it was pretty great. It was nice. It was a good opportunity.
But what made you decide to become the director of the relays?
Yeah, when after competing for a number of years, my wife is from Des Moines. She, at the time, was a media darling. She was a Roosevelt High School graduate, a Rough Rider. She had been to the had made the 92 Olympic Games and won a silver medal. So when the opportunity came for her to become a head coach here at Drake, cast that vision for others, and they see it. It's just a matter of time.
All right, and finally, we'll leave you off with this. You've been around the relays, obviously, for a while now. Every year, what is the one thing that you look forward to watching?
I look forward to Saturday. I look forward to Saturday, I guess around 2 o'clock. It's around that time that I become a fan. All the other times I'm looking, I'm working, I'm putting out fires. About 2 o'clock on a Saturday, I become a fan. I kind of go sit down and find me a little space and just watch it all unfold. And beyond that, I do have a daughter and a son. My daughter's 15 at Johnson High School. My son is 13. He's going to be running one of the relays. I look forward to seeing how well they enjoyed the experience. They're going to be my litmus test on how well I'm doing in terms of providing a fan experience.
Well, Brian, thank you so much. You've done such a great job with the Drake Relays. Thank you for stopping by, not only to talk about the Drake Relays, but how big of an impact they've had here in the city of Des Moines.
Hunger is not only a growing issue in the world, but also here in the United States. In Iowa alone, 1 in 5 people go to sleep not knowing where their next meal will come from. But here at Meals from the Heartland, they do everything they can to make a difference. Last year alone, Meals from the Heartland provided 10 million meals to the hungry in Iowa and across the world.
So the numbers, we wouldn't be able to make our goal unless we had a lot of volunteers.
And Meals from the Heartland is helping with one package at a time. In West Des Moines, I'm Hunter Phillips.
Now, Jack Bergstrom, who was featured in this story, won the 400-meter hurdles again this year, but this year's win was more emotional because he dedicated it to his late grandfather that watched him win the previous year. Last Monday, the Minnesota Wild had their backs against the wall. They had to win their game to stay alive in their 7-game series against the Colorado Avalanche. Many Iowa Wild fans were out on the town to help support their Major League affiliate 400 miles away. Well, that wraps up our spring look at the Des Moines community. From food, sports, activism, and entertainment, we hope you found something new our great city has to offer. From all of us here at Studio 100, thank you for tuning in.
Hard work and determination. That's how members of Johnson's track and field team would describe their journey this season. Coach Pat Magnoli's team has been putting in a lot of time in their practices and hoping it will pay off as his kids try to qualify for the Drake Relays. One of his athletes, Jack Bergstrom, has already experienced not only competing at the relays, but winning there. Bergstrom won the 400-meter hurdles as a sophomore last year and said that it was a big accomplishment for him to win at one of track and field's most prestigious events, and described the magnitude of race day at Drake Stadium.
That was pretty special, especially to win as a sophomore in like such a prestigious event was amazing.
When you hear Drake Relays, what's the one word that comes to mind?
Energy. There's like when you run, there's just like this feeling in the stadium that much different than any other place I've ran at.
One event that has gotten stronger at Johnson is their long-distance events. Assistant coach Matt Jashin says his program has evolved over the past 4 years.
Our distance program in the last 4 years has really elevated itself to another level. 4 years ago, we hardly had anybody running under sub 205 in the 800. We didn't have anybody under 450 in the mile. 2 mile, we couldn't get anybody under 10. And through that work in cross country, in the off season, we ended up getting second at state this year in cross country, and then that's carried over, and now we've got several guys hitting benchmarks in the 8 mile and 2 mile. And it's all because the current senior class kind of started that tradition and that culture here.
With hard work and determination, Johnson won't be going away anytime soon.